A lot of us have continued buying them. They're priced so that anyone who wants to save can afford to.
Do you think Jeff Chandler's death was regrettable? At the age of 42, after a seemingly simple surgery, was it a medical error or the dark side of Hollywood? What happened in Chandler's final years? Let's explore the little-told story of Jeff Chandler, from the invisible pressures to the medical tragedy that ended his life in regret. A Hollywood icon, born Ira Grossel in 1918 to a working-class Jewish family in Brooklyn, New York, Jeff Chandler began his journey far from the glamour of Hollywood. Standing 6 foot tall and weighing 210 pounds according to his military enlistment records, Chandler possessed a commanding presence from the beginning. His artistic ambitions emerged during his time at Erasmus Hall High School, where he participated in school plays alongside future stars like Susan Hayward. Though passionate about acting, financial constraints initially led Chandler toward commercial art. He worked as a layout artist for a mail-order catalog, earning merely. After saving enough money, he finally pursued his dream by enrolling at the Fegan School of Dramatic Art in New York. His early career involved radio work and performances in stock companies. In a significant pre-war entrepreneurial venture, Chandler formed his own company, the Shady Lane Playhouse in Illinois, during the summer of 19. The troupe toured the Midwest successfully, presenting plays like The Bad Man and Seventh Heaven. World War II interrupted his budding career when he enlisted in the Army, serving 4 years primarily in the Aleutian Islands, and rising to the rank of lieutenant. Following his discharge, Chandler moved to Los Angeles in December 1945 with $3,000 in savings, determined to break into film. Chandler's path to stardom wasn't immediate. After a serious car accident that left him with a permanent forehead scar, he initially struggled to find work. His distinctive voice proved valuable as he became known for radio roles, particularly in the Michael Shayne detective series. The turning point came in May 1949, when Chandler was cast as Apache leader Cochise in Broken Arrow. This casting decision came on the strength of his performance in Sword in the Desert. Fox Studios sought someone big enough physically to play the role and unfamiliar enough to moviegoers to lend authenticity. Filming began on June 6, 1949, primarily in northern Arizona. The production employed nearly 200 Native Americans from Arizona's Fort Apache Indian Reservation, showcasing authentic Apache customs, including the social dance and girls' sunrise ceremony. The film's progressive portrayal of Native Americans was notable for its era. Rather than using broken English, director Delmer Daves gave Cochise's character conventional English dialogue so white Americans and Native Americans would sound alike. Chandler's dignified performance earned him an Academy Award nomination, making him the first actor nominated for portraying a Native American. Broken Arrow transformed Chandler's career. Before the film was even released, Universal Pictures elevated him to leading man status. His combination of imposing height, prematurely gray hair, and rugged features made him instantly recognizable. Throughout the 1950s, Chandler became a top box office draw. By 1952, exhibitors voted him the 22nd most popular star in America. He reprised his role as Cochise twice more in The Battle at Apache Pass, 1952, and Taza, Son of Cochise. Chandler's versatility allowed him to excel across multiple genres. Although westerns became his signature, he portrayed adventurers, Smuggler's Island, war heroes, Red Ball Express, and even played a Polynesian chief in Bird of Paradise. Studios frequently cast him as characters of varying ethnicities, capitalizing on his distinctive appearance. Universal recognized Chandler's star power by signing him to a 7-year contract. His popularity grew so rapidly that 20th Century Fox repeatedly attempted to borrow him for major productions, including The Day the Earth Stood Still and Les Miserables, but Universal refused, protecting their valuable leading man. During this period, Chandler established himself as one of Hollywood's most reliable stars, bringing gravitas and authenticity to every role he undertook. From a shining icon on the big screen, Jeff Chandler quickly became a sought-after name throughout Hollywood. But behind that halo, is his life as brilliant as his roles? What is waiting behind the scenes, where the dark corners no one talks about? Personal struggles and studio pressure. Beneath his handsome looks and the glitter of his brilliant film career, Jeff Chandler struggled with quiet pressures and personal traumas throughout his short life. What the public saw, a tall, white-haired star with a commanding presence on screen, was only the surface of a life driven by relentless work, untreated physical injuries, and unfulfilled creative dreams. As early as the 1950s, Chandler had warned of the almost inhumane work schedule he was forced to follow. "You can't call your time your own," he said in a 19. His days were a constant grind, from morning DJ gigs to evening radio shows to film sets before the sun had even risen. Still, Chandler tried to stay close to his fans by personally answering each letter, an act he considered the least I could do for the people who had given me everything. That dedication, while admirable, became a double-edged sword when Chandler refused to step back and take care of himself. A back injury he had suffered on a film set years earlier was never properly treated. It wasn't until April 1961, while filming Merrill's Marauders in the Philippines, that his health took a turn for the worse. During a basketball game against U.S. soldiers, Chandler suffered a serious relapse of his back injury. Rather than rest, he chose to continue filming, relying on painkillers and anesthesia shots to get through each scene. His physical deterioration could not be hidden for long. During a scene in the middle of a humid tropical forest, Chandler suddenly collapsed and had to be evacuated by military helicopter. This was a clear sign that his body could no longer take it, a harbinger of serious medical trouble to come. Along with his physical struggles, Chandler also faced a never-ending emotional battle with Universal Studios, the studio that had made him a star but also imposed cruel expectations. In May 1954, he refused to appear in the film Six Bridges to Cross and was promptly dropped. The role was later given to George Nader. The situation was repeated when Chandler refused to play the lead role in Lady Godiva of Coventry, not because of financial disagreements, but because he was physically and mentally exhausted. In public, Chandler made no secret of his frustration with Hollywood's international filmmaking. He objected to overseas shooting, complaining that "I don't want to make movies in other countries. I want to stay home." He noted the injustice of the government's high taxes while other countries provided production subsidies. As early as 1951, Chandler told the Chicago Tribune that he found radio more fulfilling than acting. He didn't just want to be an actor, he wanted to write, direct, create new ideas, and direct the creative process. "It's not worth it to be a movie star," he said bluntly, describing the loss of freedom that comes with being a celebrity. "I can't go anywhere as an individual. Fans think actors belong to themselves, but we need to belong to ourselves." Chandler always considered himself a behind-the-scenes person. "I was born to be an executive, an idea guy." He wrote radio scripts and film sketches, hoping to one day move into a creative role behind the camera. But life didn't allow him that opportunity. Chronic injuries, a demanding schedule, and mounting psychological pressure kept him from making that crucial move. In a rare moment of openness, Chandler once admitted, "I would quit my job in a heartbeat if I had the money." What he wanted was time to travel, write, and live a quiet life, not be an icon for an industry that demands so much and gives so little in return. Sadly, he never got that chance. With his post-Hollywood dreams still unfulfilled, fate called him in a medical tragedy that still breaks many hearts. But behind Jeff Chandler's enduring silence, a media bombshell was detonated, not by the press, but by a famous colleague. So what made Chandler's name associated with the loudest Hollywood rumors of the 2000s? What did Esther Williams say in her memoir that shocked the entertainment industry? The controversial claims by Esther Williams. Years after Jeff Chandler's death, a controversial bombshell dropped that would tarnish his masculine image and spark heated debate among Hollywood insiders. The allegations came not from tabloid gossip, but from a former lover and respected Hollywood star. In 1999, swimming star Esther Williams published her autobiography, $1 Million Mermaid, containing a shocking claim about Chandler. According to Williams, who began a romantic relationship with during the filming of Raw Wind and Eden in 1956, she discovered Chandler wearing a red wig and flowered chiffon dress. Williams wrote that Chandler was happy and secure only in women's clothing, and that cross-dressing gave the actor a sexual thrill. She claimed he enjoyed that kind of thing and was definitely a cross-dresser. The revelation gained immediate traction when major networks, including Dateline NBC and Entertainment Tonight, aired segments about Williams' claims without investigating their veracity. The backlash was swift and fierce. Jane Russell, who had co-starred with Chandler and considered herself a friend of both actors, emphatically denied Williams' account. Russell recalled being in Honolulu in 1960 when Williams expressed concerns about her relationship with Chandler, but certainly never mentioned anything like what she has in her book. Writer Norman Corwin, who worked with Chandler in 1960, questioned the timing and purpose of such claims, calling them crass. Many wondered why, if true, no rumors about such behavior had surfaced during Chandler's lifetime or in the decades following his death. Particularly upsetting to Chandler's defenders was the fact that, having died in 1961, he could not respond to these allegations himself. When confronted with the backlash, Williams remained unapologetic. She dismissed critics as naive and insisted the revelations were common knowledge, dating back to the 1960s. She positioned herself as the victim, asking rhetorically, "Why did I attract this particular aberration?" Some speculated Williams embellished or fabricated the story to boost book sales. Norman Corwin suggested Chandler was the latest victim of high-stakes celebrity publishing, in which each subsequent tell-all must tell more. Williams countered such accusations by contextualizing her revelations within changing social mores. After Bill and Monica, I don't think anybody is shocked by anything. We live in a tabloid world. Nevertheless, the controversy remains unresolved, with the allegation standing as a contested footnote to Chandler's otherwise respected Hollywood legacy. While Esther Williams' statements caused a stir and cast doubt on Chandler's image, the greatest tragedy of his life came not from the rumors but from the operating room itself. Could Jeff Chandler have survived with proper medical care? What happened during that fateful surgery and who is responsible? The tragic, in the spring of 1906, when the flowers were blooming in Hollywood, a medical tragedy began to brew, ending the life of one of the brightest stars in the American film industry. Jeff Chandler succumbed to a series of terrifying medical errors that still anger and grieve many people to this day. The starting cause was an injury that was not too serious. While filming the war film Merrill's Marauders in the Philippines, a challenging project in harsh climatic conditions, Chandler participated in a friendly basketball game with Afghan soldiers and suffered a severe back injury. Despite the pain, he was determined to complete the film with the help of anesthesia, not letting anyone on the crew know the severity of the injury. This not only speaks to his professional spirit, but also reveals a heartbreaking truth. Chandler never allowed himself to be weak. On May 13, 1961, Chandler was admitted to Culver City Hospital for a disc repair, a relatively simple procedure at the time. During the procedure, however, surgeon Jules C. Rosinski accidentally severed a major artery near his spine. It was a fateful moment. Instead of being caught and contained, the serious accident was left unattended. Chandler lost nearly half his blood volume over the next several hours, a near-fatal loss of blood that went undetected. His condition continued to deteriorate. Post-operative care proved to be poor and seriously inadequate. The surgical wound became infected, leading to a second hemorrhage, and then sepsis, a dangerous complication that often occurs when bacteria enter the bloodstream and spread throughout the body. To save Chandler, doctors performed 7 surgeries in less than 3 weeks. But all efforts were in vain as his body gradually succumbed to blood loss, infection, and multiple organ failure. He died at the age of 42, a life full of plans, including directing and writing, which he had always dreamed of as a way to escape the whirlwind of stardom. His death was not a quiet one. Chandler's 4 daughters, representing the family, filed a lawsuit against the hospital, Dr. Rosinski, and the entire medical team involved. The damages sought were $1.55 million, a large sum at the time, reflecting the gravity of the wrongdoing. After 3 years of legal wrangling, the case was settled out of court in June 1964 for $233,358, more than $2 million in today's money. But the settlement came with a bitter truth. The defendants did not have to formally admit wrongdoing. Apologies, if any, were never made public. Chandler's funeral was held at Hillside Memorial Park in Los Angeles on June 19, 1961, in traditional Jewish rites, private brief, with a closed casket. Nevertheless, hundreds of people came to see him off, from colleagues, directors, to silent admirers. Universal Studios, where he had many conflicts over filming schedules and control, also made a surprise gesture of gratitude, stopping production for 2 hours to honor Chandler, a rare move. His final film, Merrill's Marauders, was released posthumously and was seen as a final farewell to audiences. In every frame, viewers still see the shadow of a man who endured so much pressure, both physical and mental, throughout his career, leaving behind only praise and a bitter question. If medical errors had not been made, would he still be alive? Although Jeff Chandler's death shocked Hollywood, did the tragedy end in the operating room? Or was it just the final chapter in a long simmering scandal? Secrets that had been hidden behind the spotlight. What remains of Jeff Chandler's legacy that has yet to be told, and why have so many chosen to remain silent? Let's think about it for a moment. Legacy in the shadow of scandal. More than 6 decades after his death, Jeff Chandler's artistic contributions remain partly overshadowed by posthumous controversies and the tragic circumstances of his passing. Chandler's untimely death at 42 immediately transformed his public image from that of a vibrant leading man to a tragic Hollywood casualty. His estate, valued at $600,000, approximately $5.3 million today, went primarily to his daughters. His ex-wife subsequently sued the estate for $80,000 she claimed was owed under their divorce settlement. Throughout these legal proceedings, Chandler's reputation remained intact, with the industry acknowledging his contributions through a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 7. Chandler's film legacy stands strongest in his westerns and war pictures, where his commanding presence and dignified performances transcend time. Film historian David Shipman noted that Chandler looked as though he had been dreamed up by one of those artists who specialize in male physique studies. Indeed, his unique appearance, that big, square, sculpted 20th century face, and his prematurely gray, wavy hair created an unforgettable screen presence. In promotional materials, Universal Studios deliberately enhanced his distinctiveness by showing his hair as blue in colored stills and posters. Undeniably, Esther Williams' cross-dressing allegations fundamentally altered how some view Chandler's legacy. Many colleagues vehemently defended him, expressing shock at claims they considered wholly inconsistent with the man they knew. Jane Russell stated emphatically, "Cross-dressing is the last thing I would expect of Jeff. He was a sweet guy, definitely all man." Actress Marcia Hunt, who worked with him on The Plunderers, remarked that the accusations made her jaw drop, adding, "I never heard a word or whisper that intimated that about Jeff." Similarly, Fess Parker expressed being shocked and surprised by Williams's claims. Nonetheless, these posthumous controversies created a complicated legacy for an actor once internationally renowned as a great leading man in his Hollywood heyday. What do you think killed Jeff Chandler? A medical error, pressure from Hollywood, or the silence of those around him? Share your thoughts below, because it's time we talked about the dark side that Hollywood tried to hide. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you, and see you in the next videos.